Jezebel is one of the most infamous women in the Bible, known for her idolatry, manipulation, and eventual violent demise. Her story is primarily found in the Old Testament, specifically in the books of 1 Kings and 2 Kings. Jezebel was a Phoenician princess who married King Ahab of Israel, and her life is marked by her strong influence over him and the kingdom, leading to significant religious and political conflicts. From an early age, Jezebel would have been familiar with the rituals and practices of Baal worship, which included offerings, sacrifices, and elaborate ceremonies intended to secure the favor of the gods for prosperity and protection. Baal, a major deity in the Phoenician pantheon, was worshipped as the god of rain, thunder, and fertility, essential for agricultural success in the region. The marriage of Jezebel to King Ahab of Israel was a strategic alliance designed to strengthen ties between Israel and Phoenicia. Such alliances were common in the ancient Near East, where marriages were used to secure political and economic advantages, consolidate power, and ensure peace between neighboring states. Israel, under the rule of the Omride dynasty, named after Ahab's father, Omri, was a powerful kingdom seeking to expand its influence. Omri had established Samaria as the capital and fortified it, making it a significant political and military center. By marrying Jezebel, Ahab aimed to bolster his kingdom's standing, gain access to Phoenician trade routes and wealth, and perhaps secure military support. Jezebel's arrival in Israel brought with it the religious traditions of her homeland. Unlike other queens who might have adapted to the religious practices of their husband's nation, Jezebel remained fervently devoted to her native deities, particularly Baal and Asherah. Her marriage to Ahab thus marked the beginning of significant cultural and religious shifts in Israel. Ahab, influenced by his wife, built a temple for Baal in Samaria and erected an Asherah pole, both acts that directly contravened the laws and traditions of Yahwism, the worship of Yahweh. This led to a religious syncretism that was deeply troubling to the prophets and followers of Yahweh, as it threatened the very foundation of Israelite identity and covenant with their God. Jezebel was not merely a passive figurehead. She was a queen with considerable influence and agency. Her strong-willed nature and determination to promote Baal worship often put her at odds with the established religious authorities in Israel. Unlike the traditional Israelite queens, who were expected to support the worship of Yahweh and remain relatively uninvolved in political matters, Jezebel took an active role in the administration and religious affairs of the kingdom. She supported hundreds of prophets of Baal and Asherah, providing them with royal patronage and resources. Jezebel's patronage of these prophets not only facilitated the spread of Baal worship, but also created a power base for her within the court, allowing her to wield considerable influence over the king and the kingdom's policies. Jezebel's zealous promotion of her religion and her persecution of Yahweh's prophets highlighted the stark differences between the monotheistic tradition of Israel and the polytheistic practices of Phoenicia. Her actions intensified the religious strife within the kingdom, leading to significant political and social unrest. King Ahab, although personally accountable for his decisions, was heavily influenced by Jezebel. His marriage to her and subsequent actions demonstrated a willingness to compromise the religious integrity of Israel for political and economic gain. Ahab's reign, thus, is often seen through the lens of his relationship with Jezebel, whose ambitions and beliefs shaped many of the key events during his time as king. Upon becoming queen, Jezebel leveraged her position to promote the worship of Baal and Asherah throughout Israel. Unlike Yahweh worship, which was monotheistic and centered on the covenant between Yahweh and the Israelites, Baal worship was part of a polytheistic tradition that included various deities associated with nature and fertility. Baal, often depicted as a storm god wielding lightning, was revered for his control over rain and agricultural fertility, vital for an agrarian society. Jezebel's influence began with the construction of a temple dedicated to Baal in Samaria, the capital of the northern kingdom of Israel. This temple was a significant architectural and religious undertaking, symbolizing the royal endorsement of Baal worship. Alongside the temple, Jezebel had an Asherah pole erected, a wooden symbol associated with the goddess Asherah, Baal's consort, representing fertility and motherhood. Jezebel's support extended beyond physical structures. She actively sponsored the prophets of Baal and Asherah. This patronage included financial support, food, and lodging, allowing these prophets to flourish under her protection. Jezebel's court hosted 450 prophets of Baal and 400 prophets of Asherah, indicating the scale of her commitment to promoting these deities. These prophets played a crucial role in spreading Baal worship across Israel. They performed rituals, led ceremonies, and offered sacrifices, thereby integrating Baal worship into the religious fabric of the nation. The prophets also acted as a counterforce to the prophets of Yahweh, creating a religious dichotomy that split the populace. One of the most notable victims of Jezebel's purge was the prophet Obadiah, who, despite serving in Ahab's palace, remained secretly loyal to Yahweh. Obadiah hid 100 prophets of Yahweh in 2 caves, supplying them with food and water to protect them from Jezebel's wrath. This act of defiance underscored the perilous environment for Yahweh's followers under Jezebel's rule. Jezebel's response to the Mount Carmel event demonstrated her unwavering commitment to Baal worship and her ruthless determination to maintain her religious agenda. Her defiance in the face of a public miracle underscored the depth of her conviction and the extent of her influence over Ahab and the kingdom. Moreover, Jezebel's influence over Ahab compromised his ability to govern effectively. Her dominance in religious matters extended to political affairs, where her manipulative and often ruthless tactics, exemplified in the Naboth's vineyard incident, further eroded the moral and ethical foundations of the kingdom. Jezebel orchestrated a scheme to falsely accuse Naboth of blasphemy and treason. She wrote letters in Ahab's name, sealed them with his seal, and sent them to the elders and nobles of Naboth's city, instructing them to arrange a fast and seat Naboth in a prominent place. During the fast, 2 scoundrels were to accuse Naboth of cursing both God and the king. The plan succeeded, and Naboth was stoned to death. Jezebel then encouraged Ahab to seize the vineyard, showing her willingness to use deception and murder to achieve her goals. Following the dramatic events on Mount Carmel, Jezebel continued to assert her dominance, undeterred by the temporary setbacks inflicted by Elijah. King Ahab's death in battle marked a significant turning point, but Jezebel remained a formidable figure, exerting influence through her sons, Ahaziah and Joram, who succeeded Ahab as kings of Israel. King Ahaziah's reign was short-lived, and upon his death, his brother Jehoram, ascended to the throne. During Joram's reign, Elisha emerged as a significant force, performing miracles and advocating for the return to Yahweh worship. Elisha's growing influence and the continuing instability in the kingdom set the stage for a direct confrontation with Jezebel. The anointing of Jehu was a critical moment, symbolizing the divine judgment against Jezebel and her family. Elisha's disciple conveyed a message from Yahweh, declaring Jehu as the new king and charging him with avenging the blood of the prophets and servants of Yahweh, which had been shed by Jezebel. As Jehu approached Jezreel, Jezebel, aware of the approaching threat, adorned herself in royal attire and makeup. She positioned herself at a window, likely intending to confront Jehu with dignity or perhaps to use her charm and authority to sway him. This act of defiance highlighted her regal confidence and unyielding spirit. The downfall of Jezebel began with the rise of Jehu, a military commander in Israel's army. Jehu's ascension was not merely a result of political ambition, but was divinely orchestrated through the prophet Elisha. The prophet Elisha, acting on Yahweh's instructions, sent one of his disciples to anoint Jehu as king over Israel. This anointing was a direct divine mandate, charging Jehu with the task of eradicating the house of Ahab and eliminating the pervasive Baal worship that Jezebel had championed. Upon reaching Jezreel, Jehu's forces were met by messengers from King Joram, but he ordered them to fall in behind him, thus gaining their allegiance without conflict. When Joram and his ally, King Ahaziah of Judah, rode out to meet Jehu, they were confronted with their impending doom. Joram, realizing the threat too late, attempted to flee, but Jehu drew his bow and shot Joram through the heart, killing him instantly. Ahaziah tried to escape but was also mortally wounded by Jehu's men and died shortly after. When Jehu entered the city, Jezebel greeted him with a taunting reference, calling him Zimri, a reminder of Zimri's brief and disastrous reign after assassinating King Ahab. This was both a taunt and a warning, implying that Jehu's rebellion would end in similar failure. However, Jezebel's words fell on deaf ears. Jehu, undeterred by her mockery, looked up and saw her in the window. He called out to the eunuchs attending Jezebel, asking who was on his side. In a pivotal moment, the eunuchs, likely motivated by fear or disillusionment with Jezebel's rule, responded by throwing her out of the window at Jehu's command. Jezebel's fall from the window was a gruesome and undignified end for the once powerful queen. She was thrown from a significant height, and her body hit the ground with fatal force. Jehu's horses trampled her, and her blood splattered against the wall and the horses. Jehu, demonstrating his contempt for her, entered the palace and feasted, showing no immediate concern for her burial. Later, Jehu ordered Jezebel's burial, acknowledging her royal status as a king's daughter. However, when the servants went to retrieve her body, they found that dogs had devoured it, leaving only her skull, feet, and hands. This horrific scene fulfilled the prophecy given by Elijah, which foretold that Jezebel's body would be eaten by dogs, and her remains would be scattered like dung on the field, ensuring that she would not be given a proper burial and her legacy would be effectively erased. Despite Jehu's ruthless methods, his actions were recognized as fulfilling the prophetic word and restoring a semblance of religious order to Israel. However, his zeal for violence and the means by which he achieved his ends were complex and left a mixed legacy. While he eradicated the immediate threat of Baal worship, the underlying issues of Israel's infidelity to Yahweh persisted. Jezebel's story remains a powerful narrative of the consequences of idolatry, manipulation, and the abuse of power. Her dramatic demise serves as a stark reminder of the ultimate triumph of divine justice over human schemes, and the enduring struggle between true worship and idolatry in the history of Israel. If you find these videos helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more motivational videos. Your support means a lot to us.